The fact is more crazier than the fiction. Why are Arsenal deciding to sell Haylender Emile Smith Rowe, our number 10? In July of 2021, he entered the new season with a new contract. In July of 2024, he is set to depart his boyhood club on a permanent basis. Ironically, at the time of making this video, it's actually his birthday. And now at 24 years of age, he's probably made the most important decision of his career to date. As you know, people, he made his debut in 2018 as an 18-year-old, as a 24-year-old, freshly turned 24-year-old. People, he's leaving Arsenal and departing Arsenal, which is probably the best decision. But I guess Smith Rowe, probably Arsenal, and definitely us Arsenal fans have a sense of what if there wasn't any injuries, people. Back in 2021, 2022, when he got 13 G assists, people, to his name, would you have imagined we'd sell our number 10 Emile Smith Rowe and he'd be leaving for 35 million? Could you at the time not imagine him being a major player in the side? Now, time waits for no one. It's adapt or perish. You have to survive. And for some reason, he hasn't quite made the progress we want him to. Unfortunately, injuries are a thing. Now, as much as it's an emotional decision, it probably is the right decision for all parties concerned. All good things must come to an end one day. Football for me can be described as a beautiful relationship, one that is built on love. However, just like in the life of love, it's not enough. Love isn't enough. Just like in football, love and emotion and all of those things, it doesn't matter really. And when you look at it with cold-hearted evidence, without emotion, once again, it is the best decision to move on for all parties. And it's probably best that he is moving to Fulham, people. As the Athletic have reported, and as you would have seen, you know, the story develop, he hasn't been included in the last two preseason games. Against Bournemouth, he was on the bench and played no part. Of course, against Manchester United, he wasn't in the squad. Mikel Arteta did say he expects things to happen, and by the time this video comes out, it's probably been officially confirmed that he is a Fulham player, owing to probably small minor intricacies, probably just holding up the deal and needing to sign off, people. Now, how do we feel about this? Depending on, you know, the side of the fence you sit on, you either believe this is a good deal or you think it's a terrible deal, where I think the truth is in the middle. I do think if you do think this is a bad deal, you're probably relying on, in hindsight, if Smith Rowe does what we believe he can, we might think, why did we sell him? And probably because of the attachment, people. So it all depends what side of the debate you fall on, people. I would say this, though, there is no deal if Smith Rowe doesn't accept to move to Fulham. You know, with Fulham, he would be provided with a platform to show his quality. Hopefully he stays fit, and I wish him all the best. We hear Mikel Arteta rates him highly, which I don't doubt, but at the end of the day, Mikel Arteta has to win trophies and has to win games, and Smith Rowe isn't a major part of it. The minutes don't lie, the numbers don't lie, the maths doesn't lie in the minutes he's played. Now, again, you keep hearing me say injuries. Injuries are a theme of Emile Smith Rowe's future at Arsenal, or better yet, time at Arsenal, apologies. But at the same time, I did think last season was different in a sense of, yes, he did have injuries, but he was fit and available and wasn't playing, essentially, people. He simply does not have a role in this side that he probably wants to have, which is a role of significance, one that is central to Mikel Arteta's thinking, people. In the same way that once upon a time, Aaron Ramsdale, Kieran Tierney were first names on the team sheet, and for whatever reason, they're marginalized figures and remain on the peripheral things, and their own futures are subject to speculation. Smith Rowe has, you know, fallen into that category. When you look in the 2023-24 season, he played 346 minutes in the Premier League, 42 minutes in the Champions League, just 2 in the FA Cup, and in total 475 minutes across 19 appearances, people, really. And the last 2 seasons, he's had a lot of injuries, but as I said, people, simply put, he's just not on the peripheral. He's on the peripheral things. He's not a major part. Doesn't seem to be an option on the left-hand side on a consistent basis, because that's Trossard and Martinelli. In the midfield, there's rumours of bringing in Moreno or someone else. Then you look at the fact of Thomas Partey, Jorginho, probably Fabio Vieira, and I don't think any Arsenal fan wants to see Kai Havertz playing midfield, but Kai Havertz, these are options that are probably seen ahead of Emile Smith Rowe. I do think the club would want to keep him, but Smith Rowe has to make this decision. As I said, this is probably the most important decision he's made in his life, and it's probably one that kind of scares him because, you know, he's been at Arsenal since 7-8 years of age, been a teenager, been a young man, and is a full-grown adult. And when you remove the emotive feeling from it, you know, it is the right decision. You need to be a major part somewhere. You need to play on a significant basis, and Fulham will provide him with that, provided he stays fit. And again, he did say once upon a time he wanted to win the Premier League at Arsenal, which we failed to do in the last 2 years, but he hasn't been a central figure to such, people, which is quite upsetting, if I'm completely honest with you. In the 2022-3 season, people, he made 14 appearances in all comps, playing 162 minutes. So in the last 2 years, he's barely kicked a ball. I can't remember when he last scored a goal for Arsenal Football Club, unfortunately, people. And with 2 years left to run on his deal, a decision has probably been made. Had he have stayed at Arsenal, he probably could have earned a new contract. But considering the fact that he's barely played and he's someone that has had bids from Newcastle, West Ham, Chelsea tried to buy him last summer, and he's now going to Fulham, and he's got 2 years left on his deal, and he's wearing the number 10. The very fact that there has been radio silence in relation to sign a new deal probably tells you that this was a decision that was made a long time ago. I know we get too hung up on squad numbers in this day and age, but traditionally, when has a number 10 not been able to play? Somebody wearing the 10 shirt, much less Dennis Bergkamp's number, when has that been subject to speculation? When has that man had speculation over his future and not been tied down, people? There's been too much uncertainty, and again, from a club perspective, let's be honest, Smith Rowe, unfortunately, when he was coming on the scene, got capped by England, was a major player. We made a big song and dance of him signing a new deal, as we should, people. But we're bringing in £35 million on a player that's come through Hayland, played over 100 times, been capped a couple of times by the country, and was a key part of Mikel Arteta's thinking when the club wasn't as rosy as it looks now. So to bring in 35 million, which goes down as 100% profit based on FFP and PSR, it allows us to reinvest and bring players in who obviously, could be part of it, people. We've watched this man grow before our eyes, and now our Hayland talent and now England international must spread his wings and fly, and now his career truly begins. This is something where it is the right decision, but it probably is fearful. It's one that's going to, Smith Rowe is out of his comfort zone. It's these kind of things in life that make and shape you and make you the best person, people. And despite the fact that he could barely kick a ball for Arsenal, it speaks volumes that whenever we did see him, fans was chanting his name and he was given a standing ovation and whatnot, people. But 24 years of age, he now needs to play. And again, you look at people like Ethan coming on the scene, not exactly the same players, but again, there's now an opportunity for younger players, and there's an opportunity for younger players to get opportunities, and obviously bring in players who are going to be in Mikel Arteta's thinking and play more significant football, people. He leaves our club with 115 appearances, 80 in the Premier League, I believe, 18 goals and 13 assists. He's been capped by the country. He's made us £35 million. He's captured Arsenal fans' hearts, and he will be a fan favourite for as long as he lives, people. If I'm completely honest. So he's a Hayland success story in that sense. He's also won an FA Cup and a Community Shield. And we'll all remember the North London derby goals, the couple of goals against Chelsea and whatnot. But it's just a shame that for someone that said he wanted to stay at Arsenal for his whole career, which we know was probably unlikely, someone that said he wanted to win the league, he won't, reach the promised land with us. Now, I hate to get religious, and forgive me, I mean no blasphemy, but if we look in the Bible, when Moses led the people them through the promise to the promised land through the desert for like 40 odd years, was it? Once they got to the promised land, Moses never got to enter. So we praise Smith Rowe for the part he's played. But in terms of us winning Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues and things of that ilk, it doesn't appear that he'll be a part of that, or he won't be a part of that. I think it's written in the stars he scores against us at the Emirates and fails to celebrate. And it is what it is, man. Where you look at Emile Smith Rowe, Eddie Nketiah, Reece Nelson, they look set to go. There are sons. They've come through the academy. They've been a big part of the last few seasons. But sadly, there's no time for sentiment. Football is a results-driven business, and we need results on all our investments. We need results on every player that's available. And can we answer the question, does Smith Rowe make us stronger in terms of winning the Prem or the Champs? Probably not. He would be just fine without Arsenal Football Club. Arsenal will be just fine without him. Let's hope he's over his injuries, people, which unfortunately has been a big theme of his career. So yeah, I wish Smith Rowe all the best. Hope we bring in some players so that we can do our thing and try and win a Premier League trophy. It is with a heavy heart that I am making this video, admittedly. But yeah, man, farewell, Smith Rowe. Spread your wings and fly. Go and do your thing and go and prove everybody wrong who's written you off. I would have loved to have kept him, but he's had to make this decision. Let me know your thoughts on Emile Smith Rowe. It clearly needed to happen, in my opinion. Do you believe he could have stayed? Do you think we pulled the trigger too early? Do you think we'll come to regret this decision? And to be honest, in January, I know you can't sell a man in January because we need players, but did we not reject a £45 million bid? So we've probably lost some money there. If Smith Rowe gets back playing, Fulham might make a double their investment, really. At 24 years of age, he's still young enough to salvage his career, but it's now a sense of urgency and time to really, really pull up some trees and remind everybody of your quality, people. On that note, let me know your thoughts on everything. One love for watching the video. Check out the rest of the other content. But for now, stay safe, stay blessed. People, Deluded. I'm out.